Welcome into a new edition of Laurel Park Weekly. I'm your host, Stanton Salter. It's Wednesday, August 2nd. That's right, we're into August here in the summertime. The summertime's flying by, and we're going to have a great show for you today, talking about a lot of stuff coming up this weekend. We have another Super Stakes Saturday of racing for you this Saturday at Laurel Park with 4 Virginia-bred stakes. But first, we'll recap last weekend. Lots of good action here at Laurel Park with Laurel Racing. We had the big crab feast on Sunday and big national races all over the country. And we're going with a 3-person team here. We had so many good races from last weekend and this weekend coming up. I couldn't do it all by myself, so I have not 1, 2 people to help me with the show here this morning. Dave Robin, the voice of Maryland Racing, and also Ty Ellis going to join me here. Ty Ellis, a co-host with me in the afternoon, and he works with the Premier Players. So looking forward to doing the show with you. How are you, Dave?
Doing great. Got a lot of ground to cover, some great races to show, both from last weekend and looking forward to a big weekend ahead.
And Ty, you're on air with me this past Sunday. Did you cash any winners?
I gave out the pick 6 and the late pick 4.
Right, you did. That's right. All right, so you had a big Sunday. Let's keep it going here for this week, and we're going to have a nice carryover for you. Friday's going to kick off the 3-day race weekend here at Laurel Park, and we'll have a nice carryover in that Rainbow Pick 6. Going to start race 5 Friday on the 10-race program, a little over $9,466. So that's a nice live pick 6. That's going to start race 5 tomorrow, Dave. And we've the last couple days we've had live singles going into that final leg for a nice signer. And if you're live for a single going into the last race on Friday, you're sitting on about a $15,000 score, maybe.
Yeah, when you get to that $10,000 range in the carryover here, they can bet pretty good money into it. And especially, I think Friday afternoon, the weather's looking good. We're going to have some big fields, competitive fields. Friday's a great day to play that pick 6.
Ty, you hit it Sunday. We're going to go for back-to-back days, Friday in the pick 6.
I think I'm going to parlay that back in. Yep, we got an 11 race card on Friday. It's really, really tough. Lots of maiden races on the back end that are going to 3 or 4 deep in there.
Yeah, nice racing all weekend long here at Laurel Park. Let's show you the stake races we have coming up here this weekend. 4 $75,000 added stake races on Saturday. The Meadow Stable Stakes, the Camptown Stakes, the Hansel Stakes, the William M. Backer Stakes. These are all Virginia-bred, Virginia-sired stake races. We'll have some familiar names up here, Special Envoy and Queen Caroline. They're already stakes winners here at Laurel Park, and they're entered in these stakes. We'll give you a nice preview of those stake races. William Backer, of course, the late great breeder down there, and the famous ad exec from Virginia. And Hansel, of course, the Preakness winner. Dave, I believe that was your first Preakness ever calling the races
1991. Here. Hansel Frank Brothers for Lazy Lane Farms. They recently died in Virginia. Hansel, first Preakness I called, yep. And the Backer Stakes, as you mentioned, like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. His favorite, famous jingle.
For Coca-Cola, yeah.
Also Miller Lite as well.
Yep.
I think jingles there too.
Yep, he was a top breeder in Virginia and a top ad executive, one of the original madmen up there on Madison Avenue in New York. And you have the Meadow Stables. That's where Secretariat and River Ridge were born down there on the Chenery Farm. And then the Camptown Stakes. That's named after the famous song, right?
Camptown?
Yeah,
Stephen Foster song. I'm very familiar with that song from my early days at Jefferson Downs. Those of you watching in Louisiana who remember that track and remember that song will never forget it.
And there used to be a hunt meet down in Virginia. I don't know if they still have it down there, but they used to have the Camptown races down in Virginia as well. Ferris Allen, he would know about that coming from Virginia.
Well, maybe we can get Ferris to sing it in the winner's circle, a little doo-dah. Okay.
All right, so that's coming up this Saturday. Hey, mark your calendars right now because a big event coming up for you next year. All you handicapping players, all you tournament players, how about this? Total estimated pull over $500,000. Live money buy-in, $12,000. This is a big money, big league, grade 1 Pegasus World Cup Betting Championship down there at Gulfstream, January 26th and 27th. The top handicappers in the world will be aiming for this big tournament down there. Looks like the last weekend of January, the Pegasus World Cup Betting Championship. Guys, do we take off that weekend and go down there for the big money?
Absolutely. I think it's the weekend in between Super Bowl and when there's nothing going on football-wise, so perfect placement for that.
All right, so that's going to be huge. So that's coming up next January. Mark your calendars. That's, I think, the biggest pool I've ever seen for a handicap handicaping tournament. Over 500,000 total estimated pool for the Pegasus World Cup Betting Championship. So that's coming up next January. Mark your calendars for that now. And we have a nice little handicapping tournament coming up for you Saturday, August 19th here at Laurel Park. The Champions Handicapping Tournament coming up here. It's a qualifier for a couple of the big tournaments down the road, the National Handicapping Championship, the Big One Championship. So that's always a well-played tournament. We also have Maryland Pride Day that day, so we'll have some great stake races along with the handicapping tournament coming up Saturday, August 19th here.
Right. If you want more information on that, it's prominently displayed at our webpage at laurelpark.com, all the tournament rules and details for our Champions Handicapping Tournament.
Ty, you're a big tournament guy. You playing it?
I won't be able to play in it, but you do have the BCBC and NHC qualifiers in there, along with the big ones. So it's for the big time players. They'll be coming out in full force.
Yeah, I know a couple of people coming from out of town already, so the place should be buzzing on that day.
And I temporarily forgot. MJC employees were not eligible to enter the tournament, so we can't play in it. We can have our friends playing it. Maybe give them some advice in the tournament. So that's a big tournament Saturday, August 19th. Mark your calendar for that. Let's get right to it. We have lots of races. We have 17 races to show you today here on Laurel Park Weekly. Let's get right to it. Let's do a little local recap from last weekend here at Laurel Park. And wow, lots of talk about this 2-year-old filly. And this was one of the toughest maiden special weights in the country last Sunday here at Laurel Park. Race 8, maiden special weight for 2-year-old fillies, and a well-bred, homebred filly here for Laurel Stables, Mr. and Mrs. Roy Jackson. Jahazakat, 2-year-old filly by Tappet, out of the mare Precious Kitten, who made almost $2 million, was a multiple Grade 1 stakes winner. Very impressive performance here from Arnaud Delacour's barn.
Opened as the favorite, went off 2.90 to 1, so not the favorite at post time. But the impressive part about the race to me, Stan, was early on when she was kind of up against it, battling down, dueling inside of horses down the backstretch. Put those runners away on that kind of left lead through the stretch. But you can tell she's a quality filly. And Ty, I think she's going to be a stakes winner. I don't know what number she ran in the race. Maybe you guys know. But I tell you, she was very, very impressive.
I didn't see the buyer number, Dave, but I do. I mean, she was a little green coming down the stretch. She was hanging on that left lead, but I'll be interested to see where they point this horse next if they do stakes company, maybe up north.
And a great pedigree on her, too.
Tap it on top. Yeah, absolutely.
Half to Divining Rod, who was another horse that Laurel Stables had, campaigned for Arnaud Delacour, you might remember from last year.
Yeah, so Delacour, what a role he's been on the last couple weekends. Very impressive win with Jahazakat. The previous weekend he had 2 debut winners here at Laurel Park, and he also won the stake race with his 2-year-old, his nice 3-year-old No Dozing in the Concern Stake. So trainer Arnaud Delacour, he's been red hot here all summer long at Laurel Park.
I believe they have 16 horses, according to Thoroughbred Daily News, here in the States, and 15 of them now in Arnaud Delacour's care. Yeah, so not only a presence here, but overseas as well.
What you said, he's winning races overseas as well?
No, their horses are overseas and here, but Arnaud has the bulk of the horses here now.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay, all right, well, let's move on here to the next runner, Tickled Pink for trainer Graham Motion. I had this horse on top. This was a nice allowance feature of the day last Saturday, a first-level allowance race for filly and mares going 7 furlongs. And Tickled Pink, she broke her maiden here in debut last February, and she gets back to the winner's circle here. Big, good-looking 3-year-old filly by Shackelford, and she looks like the 2011 Preakness winner Shackelford as well, Dave. Big, tall chestnut filly here for Graham Motion.
Was turn back time here to our Tickled Pink. I have trouble, almost called her Pickled Tink. There was a horse named Pickled Tink, as you recall, back, I think, ran here a long time ago. But Tickled Pink, interesting name. She was stakes placed in the Caesar's Way, so she should have run well in that spot and dominates that field there with a nice outside bid move to win by a length and a half for Graham Motion.
She was wide. I'm wondering if the track helped or hurt some of the other horses in there, but the Connections obviously had high hopes for her early on, went to the stakes second race, and been toiling around that first level allowance level. So I think this horse has a bright future.
Well, they've been trying her long, both on the dirt and the turf. Maybe she's just a better sprinter, or 6.5, 7 furlongs like this allowance race last Saturday. I could see her being a top sprinter maybe as a 3-year-old and growing up as a 4-year-old.
Sprinting 7 furlongs to a mile, the distance at which she broke her maiden over this track, I think maybe kind of the way they're going to keep her now, daughter of Shackelford.
All right, so that was a nice win there for Grand Motion last Saturday. Trainers Lacey Gaudette and Gina Rosenthal, they had a couple impressive debut winners last weekend here at Laurel Park. Let's show you Dynamic Asset. She won race 6 last Saturday here at Laurel Park. First time out for trainer Lacey Gaudette, 2-year-old, colt here by Astrology, who was third in the Preakness behind Shackelford back in 2011. The dam was 2 for 11, made $36,000, and this guy's a half to coin broker who made over $162,000. Very professional performance here in debut for Dynamic Asset. Alex Cintron, nice ride here for Lacey Gaudette.
Professional, too, in the sense that right off the bat on a sloppy track, he handled it with no problem at all. Always had run down the backstretch and kicks clear to win.
Powerful move. I'll be interested. They'll probably put this horse in allowance race next. But that was a pretty powerful move around the 8th pole. You know, the horse switched leads on cue, and nothing but bright future for them.
Yeah, trainer Lacey Gaudette, she's hanging around 25% with a nice positive ROI with her first-time starters. So she wins with Dynamic Asset. Keep that barn in mind when it comes to first-time starters. Lacey Gaudette and trainer Gina Rosenthal, she had a nice weekend here last weekend at Laurel Park. I believe she won 2 races last Friday, including a first-time starter here with Pikachu Princess, a Maryland-bred 2-year-old filly by Redeem. That's a young stallion here in Maryland up there at Northview Stallion Station, trained by Gina Rosenthal. Nice ride here by Katie Davis, and there was some nice works on the work tab, but Gina Rosenthal still got a nice price here on this winner. She went off about 9-2. Much the best though here in debut.
Being by that Northview Stallion sire there, Redeem. Maybe they're thinking Maryland Million down the road here during the fall, and looks like she's going to be a nice filly. The runner-up too, another debut runner. Her Cat Will Fool You probably won't be a maiden long as well.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what that. There was a bunch of first-time starters in there, so it'll be interesting to see some of the runners that finished behind to see how they came out of that race.
And especially going from slop this race to next time coming out on a fast track, a couple with some excuses in there.
All right, so we had some nice first-time starters like Jahazukat by Tappet, and some nice local horses like Dynamic Asset and this Maryland-bred Pikachu Princess. And, yeah, good point about Redeem being a Maryland sire, maybe Maryland Million down the road here for Pikachu Princess. So good Friday, last Friday for Gina Rosenthal. She had 2 wins here at Laurel Park. Let's get a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll do a national recap. We're going to talk about 5 of the top races from last weekend, and there are a bunch of good ones. We'll talk about that when we come back. Welcome back. Laurel Park Weekly here. We're by the historic Laurel Park paddock. It's Wednesday, August 2nd as we get into the dog days of summertime. I'm joined by Dave Rodman and Ty Ellis. I'm Stanton Salter. We're talking about all the big races from last weekend, both here at Laurel Park and all over the country. We'll preview the big weekend we have coming up this weekend at Laurel Park. Nice carryover in that pick 6 on Friday. That's a little shy of 10,000. And then we have 4 stake races for you here Saturday at Laurel Park, and always Sunday brunch on Sunday. But let's talk about the big races from last weekend, some of the biggest races of the summertime. Anytime you have a race with the Kentucky Derby winner and the Preakness winner, like the Grade 2 Jim Dandy had, you had Always Dreamin' and our Preakness champ, Cloud Computing, and it's set up for a big-time showdown, and, well, it's the Graveyard of Champions up there at Saratoga, right?
Opening quarter was 24.5 and 48 and change, 48 and 2/5 set by the Derby winner, Always Dreaming. Cloud Computing, the Preakness winner, tracks Always Dreaming, but in the end, it was Good Samaritan from turf to dirt for trainer Billy Mott on the far outside there, coming from dead last to win.
Yeah, he saved all the ground also on the backstretch. There was some talk. Saratoga had a big speed rail bias all weekend. He saved all the ground on the backstretch and then swung about 6 wide and then blew them away. Disappointing for Always Dreaming. I don't know if we're going to see that horse again. Might take the stallion status. Obviously, that's just me guessing, but.
Yeah, don't know. I mean, Good Samaritan comes home last 8th and 12 and 2, and so I mean, Travers has got to be on the top of their mind. You know, this horse had some talent last year. He won a Grade 2 summer on the turf at Woodbine. That first caught my eye back then, and he was third at Santa Anita in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf as a 2-year-old. But remember another famous horse, a Mott from turf to dirt, who won a few races.
Yeah, Cigar.
Yeah,
the famous Maryland bred that made about 10 million. What did he win? 16, 17 in a row.
Yeah. So Travers bound. I'll take him in the Travers tie.
I would. The Travers is going to be wide open. What we saw in the Haskell and then some other the 3-year-old division just kind of got blown up this weekend.
Well, yeah, we'll see another good 3-year-old race later.
And Cloud Computing kind of spitting the bit there. So 3-year-old division's wide up for grabs, and I think the Travers might be the determining who's going to win 3-year-old champion.
And I think it was Bill Mott's birthday for the on Jim Dandy Day up there at Saratoga.
Another birthday win for Bill Mott. One of the better angles in racing. Cash a bet on Bill Mott on his birthday.
And how about my man Nick Zito? He always shows up in these big races. A good second with Giuseppe the Great there in the Grade 2 Jim Dandy. I'm saying it right now. Nick Zito going to pull off the upset and the Travers, either with Giuseppe the Great or somebody else. Yeah, Nick Zito, he's due. You're not going to keep him out too long.
All right. Well, I'm singling Good Samaritan.
And
that's 3 weeks out, right?
And the Travers.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Good to see Bill Ma with a nice win there, and the Jim Dandy. Let's talk about the Haskell next. Yeah, the $1 million 3-year-old race at Monmouth. Gervin. He just got beat by IRAP in the Ohio Derby, correct?
Ohio Derby's coming up strong. Yeah. IRAP and Gervin both come back to win, and what a Haskell this was. A very deep field this year.
The first to give way as the field turns home. McCracken cut loose with a powerful rally outside of Irish Warcry. Irish Warcry and McCracken. McCracken has the lead.
Here we see McCracken taking the lead.
His best stride. Timeline has dropped out of it. Gervin in the center of the track. McCracken by 2. Practical Joke and Gervin are both coming. Gervin on the outside. Here comes Gervin, and Gervin gets up to win by a nostril over McCracken in a thrilling Haskell. Practical Joke was a great third, and Irish Warcry finished fourth.
All right, nice call. We wanted to play the call there by Frank Miramonti as Gervin comes from way out of it, gets up there. Congratulations to trainer Joe Sharp. Of course, he's married to Rosie Napravnik, who we know well around here, and big-time late rally. So Gervin, he's got to be right up there in the 3-year-old picture after winning the Haskell there.
We had to play that call. That was a gutsy call because that is not an easy angle in Monmouth. Frank is to the left of the finish line here at Monmouth, and a good stretch call. And I was crying when I was cheering and then crying. I liked McCracken in that race. But yeah, it was an emotional winner's circle appearance for Rosie Napravnik. Joe Sharp, that was his first Grade 1. The horse has had some issues, around Derby time with his feet. Apparently it's all taken care of now. So he's a 3-year-old is on the improve. Maybe Travers bound for him and McCracken.
I thought McCracken was home. You saw that horse opened up about 2 lengths, and then if you had your money on McCracken,
I did.
Gervin just came and run him down late. That was a good run by Gervin, and it improves IRAP too, who wasn't in the race, but IRAP beat him in the Ohio Derby and won the Bluegrass out of Keeneland. So.
I mean, you've got Gervin, McCracken, IRAP, and a Good Samaritan. All 3-year-olds who seem to be kind of peaking now at the right time.
The big surprise, Practical Joke, trained by Chad Brown, was 3rd. Chad Brown didn't win another Grade 1. Big surprise.
He got in trouble. McCracken was wide. It was Robbie Alvarado, the veteran, has won many, many races, of course, and getting the clear trip on the outside in the perfectly timed cool ride there to get up.
All right, so Gervin's for real. He wins the Haskell. It'll be an interesting 3-year-old picture going on the rest of the year. Another Grade 1 last Saturday up there at Saratoga, named after Maryland's own Alfred G. Vanderbilt, the Grade 1 Vanderbilt. It was last Saturday at Saratoga, and El Deal looks like he's the real deal. Wow, he won this race by 109 and change. Javier Castellano aboard for trainer Georgie Navarro, who wins wherever he goes. El Deal, a very fast 5-year-old by Munnings. He's going to be atop the sprint division now, I would think, after this
I would think so.
dominating.
He's got that kind of like good middle speed turn of foot there. If he can get away on the, between the 3/8, the quarter pole toward the 8th pole with that quick burst, he's going to be tough to catch, I think. And this is a 3rd win in a row. Private Purchase L Deal is going good now for George Navarro.
All right, so that's the Vanderbilt from Saratoga last Saturday. Let's also, where are we going next here as I get this thing out of here?
Going
We're
to the Bing Crosby.
The Bing Crosby. We're all kinds of excitement out there. The wrong kind of excitement if you're Bobby Baffert, who is not having a very good Del Mar meet out there yet. He's liable to heat up at any point, but let's show you what happened here in the Bing Crosby.
There's Breeders' Cup winner Derfong right out of on the inside. Ducks into the chute, unseats Mike Smith, who's okay, and horse is okay. And so there he went out of the race immediately. Ransom the Moon, the eventual winner in the green circle there, gets a good trip down to the inside as the loose Derfong runs a little interference at the top of the stretch, carrying a couple of others wide. And in the end, it'll be Ransom the Moon by a length and a half.
And the 8-horse Roy H., who's coming, is going to end up finishing second, actually went off as a favorite in here. Took a lot of late money. I think that horse probably ran the best out of this field, or out in the race, but was just drifted so wide by Dre Fong, the loose horse. It'll be interesting to see this horse come back later on.
So favorite, wound up the favorite fence 6 wide, and for Derfong, an older horse, for doing something like that, Del Mar said they're going to take a look at that temporary rail, make it maybe redo it a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult for a horse to kind of duck into that rail. I mean, I've seen it happen before,
Sure.
Mostly with younger horses, though, right? Yeah.
So Ransom the Moon, another Grade 1 winner for Malibu Moon. Of course, he started as stud here in Maryland up there at Country Life Farm with the Pons family. They got him rolling, then sent him down to Kentucky. Now he's one of the top sires of the world. He's the sire of Ransom the Moon, your Grade 1 Bing Crosby winner out there at Del Mar. We have another Grade 1 to show you from Del Mar last week in the Clement L. Hirsch. And we remember this 5-year-old mare by Curlin, Stellar Wind. She broke her maiden against Maiden Special Weight Company here at Laurel for trainer Donnie Barr and jockey Taylor Hole. And she's been doing nothing but winning Grade 1s out there in California. Here's another Grade 1 win for trainer John Sadler and Stellar Wind.
How about that, Ty? I mean, she just never lets that horse, get by her. Just latched on there to Valdori all the way around the track.
Absolutely gutsy ride. It's Victor Center a little bit from the rail because it was he knew there wasn't going to be too much pace. This horse wants pace to run into, hasn't got it, but Stellar Wind, another good win.
Another win in the Clement Hirsch, too, and we'll see her hopefully in the Breeders' Cup distaff again for another appearance. You're right, Stellar Wind. I remember there was, looking back at the PPs,
yes.
Hard to believe, December 18th of 2014, broke a maiden right here at Laurel, was sold privately and sent out to the West Coast.
And now she's made over $2.2 million. So Stellar Wind, she's by Curlin out of a Malibu Moon mare and doing well out there on the West Coast. Okay, that's it for the national recap. Let's get a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll preview the 4 stake races we have coming up here this Saturday at Laurel Park. We'll talk about the big national races as well. We'll be coming right back.
EquestriaCon.
EquestriaCon, the first ever international racing convention.
The first ever. For the fans.
Meet the legends.
The breeders, the owners.
The jockeys like me.
The best of the industry.
Come celebrate racing at EquestriaCon.
Welcome back, Laurel Park Weekly. We're by the paddock here at Laurel Park on Wednesday, August 2nd. I'm Stanton Salter. Dave Robin, Ty Ellis with me here to get you ready for all the big action coming up this weekend. We have a nice carryover Friday, a little shy of 10,000 to kick off the 3-day race weekend for you. And then 4 nice Virginia bred stakes here this Saturday. So we'll start with the local preview, and then we'll do a little national preview after this, talking about the Whitney and the test at Saratoga, and also the West Virginia Derby out there at Mountaineer. But let's start with the 4 stake races we have here this Saturday at Laurel Park, part of an 11-race card we'll have here this Saturday, and a bunch of nice racing. Hopefully we'll have some nice weather out there on that big world-class turf course.
Yeah, a lot of I think 11 on Friday to 11 Saturday, and of course the stakes always spice up that Saturday card, no matter what's going on at Saratoga. You know, it's good to have those stakes here in Maryland.
And you're right, 11 on Friday, right?
Right.
Okay,
right.
So I was wrong. I said 10 earlier.
I thought I saw 11.
So yeah, you're right. You're right. 11 on Friday. So that means the Rainbow Pick 6 with that carryover on Friday is going to start race 6 for you. So Pick 6 tomorrow starts race 6, and we'll probably have 11 races Saturday, I'm guessing, as well, if we're having 4 stakes. So the drawing for Saturday's card now. Here's the update. Let's start with the Hansel Stakes for 3-year-old and upward, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. Right now we have 5 entered in there right now. Dream of Peace is entered in there. Jump Ship is entered in there. Special Envoy, Speed Gracer, and Titan Alexander. Let's show you a video spotlight here from Special Envoy for trainer Arnaud Delacour. And this is his win in June here at Laurel Park. Just getting to the page now. This was June 24th in the Edward Evans here at Laurel Park. He pulls the upset off Rosebriar, who's one tough customer, but Special Envoy, one tough customer as well for trainer Arnaud Delacour.
I don't think he'll face Rosebriar. Has been retired now, I believe, right?
Yes,
He was
yep,
announced
yep.
as retired. So there you go. Without Rosebriar in the race, he's clear of the other horse in there. He's going to be tough to beat. Just a salty, consistent horse.
It'll be interesting where they put this race in the card, because
Right.
if it's in the pick 6, I think that's a single, a free single, or pick 5s anywhere. It's pretty much, I mean, anything can happen, but without Rosebriar, with him retiring, Special Envoy should win this pretty easy.
Jump Ship trying to take another try. He was 4th in that race. Came back with an okay 3rd there July 9th at here at Laurel in starter optional claiming race.
The horse, that was 3rd in the Edward Evans behind Special Envoy, Speed Gracer. Don't forget about him, Speed Gracer, who's by Lemon Drop Kids. Susan Cooney, she's certainly having a big summer.
Indeed, yeah, everywhere too.
Went up to Saratoga with that filly that was 3rd up there. Who was it? A Carolina Shag?
Carolina Shag, 3rd stakes place there in Coronation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on Monday, right?
On Monday.
That was my Monday afternoon day off, watching Saratoga and rooting on Susan Cooney up there at the spa.
Right.
Ty, how'd you do Saratoga Monday? I know you were playing.
I got a Finger Lakes horse knocked me out of the pick 4.
Oh, jeez.
Should have called me.
So there's 5.
That's the only one I had. No.
5 in the Hansel right now. Hopefully they'll get some more in there. Special Envoy is going to be the star in that race. Let's talk about the William M. Backer Stakes next for filly mares 3 and up, going a mile and a 16th. And we're going to show you Queen Caroline out of this race. She's entered for trainer Michael Matz. Also, well, here's Queen Caroline's win last out in the Nellie Maycox late June here at Laurel Park. Also in the William Backer, we have Andrasta entered, Armour, Complete Saint, Grace is Ready, Secret or Not, Street Miz, Sweet Sandy, Well Blessed. But they're all going to have to beat Queen Caroline. She's going to be one of the favorites in this race.
Well, probably so. Got away with kind of a slow pace and a perfect ride. Armois, a good second in there. I'd take a shot with Armois against her one more time against Queen Caroline. And again, that's Arnaud Delacour, another Firestone runner. Same colors as a Special Envoy. And Complete Saint, I thought, got in a little trouble in the race. So maybe a little vulnerable.
Complete Saint is good. Yeah, I think you have to use Complete Saint.
Yeah,
I think is an absolute. Finished 2nd in the Maryland Million Ladies back in 2016 last year. So it's going to be a good field.
Yeah, big field there. Let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in there right now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
Yep.
9 entered in the William Backer right now. Queen Caroline's going to be one of the favorites, but as hot as Arnaud Delacour barn has been, maybe Armour can turn the tables. We'll have Alex Cintron, who's named right now on Queen Caroline, and Daniel Centeno on Armour. So that's the William M. Backer on Saturday. Let's talk about the Meadow Stable Stakes. This will be for a 3-year-old and upwards, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. And we're going to talk about Tis Our Time, who's nominated to this race the Meadow stable. Not entered in the race right now, but is nominated. I don't know why Pete Twisdale wouldn't go in this race because 'Tis Our Time with a nice win here at Laurel Park. This was 'Tis Our Time. This was in the White Oak Farm back on June 24th here at Laurel Park.
Yeah, maybe she ran back after this July 17th and beaten favorite, so maybe thinking, too quick a turnaround. We'll see, but it's kind of an open race in my opinion. We'll have to see how the entries shake out.
All right, so here's who we do have entered in the Meadow Stable Stakes right now. We have Awake the Day is entered in there. Awake the Day is actually cross-entered in both the Meadow Stable Stakes and the Camptown Stakes. Also in the Meadow Stable, we have Fly E Dubai, Homespun Hero, Lawyer Dave, Limehouse Louie. Say it a couple times in a row. It's fun. Trust me. Limehouse Louie. And then Trustafarian, Two Notch Road, and Why Not Be Queen entered in the Meadow Stable Stakes. The old-timer, the Two Notch Road, the 10-year-old for Glenn Thompson trying to regain his best stride.
All right.
Your thoughts? Who do you guys like in the Meadow Stable?
If 'Tis Our Time doesn't run, and she would be going against the boys again, because I would probably go with Lawyer Dave. I like Lawyer Dave's second in the White Oak Farm. I think you have to go back to the form of that race if 'Tis Our Time doesn't.
All right, Kevin Gomez named to ride Lawyer Dave there for trainer Carla Morgan. So
always dangerous speed. I'll go Fly E Dubai just off a speed angle alone. That horse is quick.
That's Fly E Dubai. J.D. Acosta will be on that 3-year-old for Jerry Thurston. So that's the Meadow Stable Stakes. One more. We have 4 stake races for you this Saturday here at Laurel. Let's talk about the Camptown Stakes. And Do What I Say was a winner here at Laurel Park, and this was from June 24th, and this was Do What I Say in the M. Tyson Gilpin. Yeah, nice win from Off the Pace here. Alex Centra on board for Michael Trombetta. So she's nominated to the Camptown. She's not in there yet. Right now we have Awake the Day entered in the Camptown, Northern Eclipse, Ring Knocker, Sister Says, Uphill Battle, Weekend, and Why Not Be Queen. So if this filly Do What I Say, if she doesn't go in this race, I like Awake the Day a little bit for trainer Robbie Bales. Jevion Toledo will be aboard. Sister Says for Tim Keefe. That's a nice filly. And how about Weekend for trainer Arnaud Delacour? She'll be dangerous in this race. Could be a wide open affair here in the Camptown.
Yeah, Weekend's intriguing because she's been kind of going, went long first and then added the blinkers and then wins shortening up going 6. So maybe a horse with the blinkers just kind of turned her around somewhat.
Yeah, it wasn't really, I think Do What I Say got a bit of a setup in that last race. They went 44 flat. Which is pretty quick for 5.5, and she closed into it. He closed into it. So probably she got a bit of a setup. I like Weekend, and I'm also Northern Eclipse is intriguing also.
Yeah. Hugh McMahon's been on a roll, and that's a nice claim there. Toby Roth, the owner of Northern Eclipse, J.D. Acosta named to ride that horse.
Yeah, this horse has won a couple since the claim, and McMahon always tough with sprinters and turf sprinters as well.
All right, so nice turf sprint there for Virginia Breds in the Camptown Stakes. Let's go on to the national preview. A bunch of big races this week, and of course up at Saratoga. Let's start with the Whitney, who's named after Ty's middle name, I believe, right, Ty? We went up
for giving it away.
We went up to the Whitney one weekend, and here's Gun Runner. Gun Runner is going to be one of the favorites here in the Whitney for trainer Steve Asmussen. A powerful win last out in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster at Churchill.
You're watching the Stephen Foster here, just one. Went off going away, won by 7, breaking lucky, honorable duty were in that race. If this horse runs back to this race, he's going to be a major contender going forward, especially with questions about Arrowgate, what he did at Del Mar. But that race that you saw at Churchill was really impressive from Gun Runner.
Yeah, second Arrogate in the Dubai World Cup. And then finding softer company there in the Foster.
So Gun Runner, he'll be tough in there. He'll be one of the favorites for Steve Asmussen, but a guy by the name of Todd Pletcher, he's having a big meet up there as well. He's the second leading trainer. Of course, Chad Brown is the leading trainer. Chad Brown's like the leading trainer in the world right now, as many races as he's winning. But Keen Ice, this horse is pretty good. He beat American Pharoah one time up there at Saratoga in the Travers. Here's his last win, I believe, in the Grade 2 Suburban for Keen Ice. So he'll be coming late for T. Pletch, but by curling out of an Awesome Again mare. Keen Ice, a 5-year-old who's made over $3 million now.
And this was over Shaman's Ghost, who was 1-2 in this race. And Keen Ice ran past him like he was standing still. Keen Ice is kind of a spotty runner. I think they put him a little bit more into the race than they have in the past, and that went to that horse's advantage. It's a short field. I think they only got 6 or 7 horses in there, with Luch has a couple horses in there. So it might get a little bit of a pace to run into, but Keen Ice could be dangerous if he runs.
Maybe another situation where everybody's yelling golden rail, and here comes the horse. Here comes the horse on the far outside again. Keen Ice, very durable, still giving his best here at 5, and he's run against Arabic a couple of times. The Pegasus World Cup and the Dubai World Cup. Gunrunner beat him in the Dubai World Cup there, but coming back here after a solid win, you never know.
If you have a Saratoga long shot tucked up your sleeve in the Whitney, we'd like to hear, because
Don't have it.
you gave out Good Samaritan to everybody in the Jim Dandies. That was a nice pick last week, and nothing cooking in the Whitney.
Only one every quarter. That's all you got out of me.
All right, so the Whitney, that's one grade 1 up there at Saratoga. Another grade 1 is the test for 3-year-old fillies. American Gal's going to be very good in here for trainer Simon Callahan. Here's her win at Belmont in the grade 3 victory ride, 6.5 furlongs and 17 and change. That's moving. Flavian Pratt was aboard here, so American Gal is going to be one of the fillies to beat in the test this weekend at Saratoga. Who do you guys like?
Versatility for sure for her. I mean, she was behind Abel Tasman, made a move into a sharp, hot pace there in Starlet at Losal last year, and then comes back sprinting. Maybe sprints her game.
Yeah, I'm thinking the 7 furlongs is just a perfect distance. Even though she's got Ghost Sapper underneath, she's tried going long, and she couldn't really compete with the Abel Tasmans and really the top route horses of the 3-year-old filly division. So I'm big on American Gal. She could be a 3-year-old sprinting champion. She could even, I could see Breeders' Cup Sprint going, I think, 7 or 6 at Del Mar if she impresses here.
All right, so the Whitney and the Test 2 stakes up there at Saratoga this weekend to look forward to. Also, we'll have the West Virginia Derby at Mountaineer this weekend, and everybody loves Patch for trainer Todd Pletcher, the one-eyed horse owned by Calumet Farm. Here's his race from the fairgrounds. We're going to the fairgrounds.
Yes.
This is the Louisiana Derby, where he was a good second to Gervin, who just won the Haskell this weekend.
Well, that certainly moves him up, right? Doesn't
Absolutely, yeah. The Gervin, what he did in Monmouth is in the Haskell just improves this horse, and I look for Patch. I haven't really seen the entry, so I don't know who's going to run. I look for Patch to breeze away with this, maybe win by a couple lengths, and then head up to New York for the Travers.
Yeah, well, there's 10 others in there, Ty. I mean, game over. You got Brad Grady and Joe Sharp looking for another win. They won the Haskell with Gervin with Fat Man. I'll go with Fat Man there. I know he's got the 2-hole in Mountaineer. It's not always the best post position outside, and closers seem to kind of rule the roost there. Maybe helping looking at Lee, who's also
second
there
in the Kentucky Derby, a late closer. So,
but they're not afraid of Patch, that's for sure. So a real big field there for the $750,000 Mountaineer West Virginia Derby.
Where Fat Man is in there.
Fat Man with a PH.
With the PH. Okay.
Right.
I got a root on that horse. When I was a young kid, I knew a bookie named Fat Man.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why I knew a bookie named Fat Man when I was a young kid, but those things happen every now and then.
Fats Domino was the Fat Man, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe you
that's right.
find your thrill on Blueberry Hill if you can get that that superfecta. With Fat Man in the race, you're looking at his form. He's got some tactical speed, maybe just tactically break and then angle a little bit to the 3, 4, 5 path and get maybe a jump.
Who trains him?
That's
Joe Sharp?
Joe Sharp.
All right, there you go. Joe Sharp wins the Haskell and might win the West Virginia Derby with Fat Man. He's getting lucky. He's doing well. Hard-working guy, and he started out here. He was a jockey as well. We know Joe around here well, and his wife Rosie Pravnik. So congratulations to them. They work hard, and they're winning some big races. Gervin in the Haskell, maybe Fat Man with a PH in the West Virginia Derby this weekend. So lots of big racing this weekend. We have 4 stake races for you here this Saturday. Nice carryover in that Rainbow Pick 6 on Friday. That's a little over 9,400. We'll have Sunday brunch cooking up for you here on Sunday. Should be a beautiful 3-day race weekend here at Laurel Park. We'll have all the simulcast action from Saratoga and all the other top tracks around the country. Guys, it's been fun. We'll have to do this again next week.
We'll do it again.
looking forward to it.
Whatever you want.
All right.
Next week?
Next week, every
Well,
Wednesday, we
okay.
do Laurel Park Weekly, and we try to do a nice local and national recap and local and national preview. So you can catch us on our website, laurelpark.com, also on our Twitter and Facebook pages as well. So check out the website for that big handicapping tournament coming up Saturday, August 19th, the Champions Handicapping Tournament coming up. That's Saturday, August 19th. We hope to see you out here at the races this weekend. Good luck.
Good luck.